Okay, sa ating part 2, defended against modern challenges. I want to introduce you, ipakilala ko lang kayo kay Professor Plum. Alam mo yung plumber? Parang katunog lang pero hindi siya plumber. Professor Plum. Itong si Professor Plum ay create siya ng isang neuroscientist. Neuroscientist, meron ba ditong neuroscientist? Wala man na medyo medyo elite. Scientists who siya nag-aaral ng nervous system, right? And then kasama yung brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Yun yung expertise nila. So, yung naglikha kay Professor Plum ay kaya niyang i-manipulate directly yung kanyang isipan through a technology. Parang radio yung technology na yon. Pero he is much like parang katulad lang siya ng ordinary tao. Let's say kung aatin si Professor Plum dito, papasok siya, you'll see him acting as a human. Kasi nga, ganun siya nilikha ng neuroscientist. Now, given his history, let's suppose this, na yung neuroscientist that created him ay kinontrol siya locally. So ganito, in every reasoning process, let's say magsasalita si Professor Plum, magtuturo siya, merong button na pipindutin yung neuroscientist para hindi niya gawin yan or gawin niya ito. So you're getting what I mean, right? So sa bawat process na kanyang reasoning, yung kanyang desire na gawin ang isang bagay ay merong isang scientist na nag-control nung kanyang gagawin. So, by pushing that button, let's say, papasok si Mr. Plum dito, and then, i-push yung button, lalabas siya, pupush yung button, may pag-usap siya, i-push yung button, ay wag na lang. So yon, he is being manipulated by this neuroscientist. So, this is from Guillaume Bignon's book, Excusing Sinner, Blaming God. Now, the question is this. Is Professor Plum responsible for his actions? Paano kung si Professor Plum ay locally minanipulate parang may remote control yung isang scientist at kinontrol niya para pumatay ng tao si Professor Plum? Will you say that he is responsible for that murder? Obviously, yes, right? Kasi merong direct control yung isang manipulator or isang scientist through radio-like technology para kontrolin yung processes ng brain, yung brain waves niya, yung actions niya, and desires. So basically, we can say that he is being manipulated, override yung brain processes niya para gawin niya yung mga bagay na gusto niyang gawin o kaya hindi niya gustong gawin. So, isa ito sa mga challenges. Okay, yung binanggit ko na case ay case 1 sa tinatawag na manipulation argument. So, manipulation argument, isang argumento laban sa idea ng compatible ang sovereign will ng Panginoon at ating human will na sabi ni Alexander, it is the most formidable arguments for incompatibilism. So, we believe na magkatugma, compatible ang sovereign will and human will. Pero merong naniniwala sa incompatibilism na incompatible. Hindi ito yung mag-boyfriend at girlfriend na incompatible kayo later on. Kundi incompatible, hindi magkatugma yung sovereign will and then yung human will ng tao. So ang major proponent nito sa case 1 natin, we will be seeing 2 cases bilang challenge against compatibilism. Proponent po ay si Dirk Pereboom or Pereboom. Meron siyang tinatawag na 4-case argument. Itong si Dirk Pereboom, anak po siya ng isang Calvinist minister. Diba? Calvinist minister siya pero naging isa siya sa lumalaban sa compatibilism. Ang kanyang view ay tinatawag na hard incompatibilism na meron siyang book, ang title ng kanyang book ay Living Without Free Will. So hanapin nyo, Dirk Pereboom, Living Without Free Will. Ang argument niya doon ay dinidepend niya yung meaning and value ng buhay ay intact kahit hindi tayo responsible sa ating action. So, di-deny niya na responsible ka sa iyong action, pero sabi niya, okay lang yan. Pero we can still live a meaningful life. So, how is that possible? Read the book, okay? Living Without Free Will by Dirk Perboom. Pero for our second session, tignan natin yung 4-case argument niya. Yung case 1, nabanggit ko na kanina, na merong, remember, Professor Plum, na mamanipulate locally ni nung isang neuroscientist. Okay? So, kaya ito 4-case argument kasi in-improve niya or merong, merong advancement nung cases wherein binabago niya lang yung bawat detail ng cases. From case 1 na merong naging manipulate kay Mr. Plum to kill, okay? Going to case 3 and then case 4. At ang argument niya ay yung manipulation na ito ay ina-argue yung naturally determined agent is no more responsible than a manipulated agent or divinely determined agent. Ibig sabihin, sabi niya, kung yung case 1 na merong may hawak ng remote control para kontrolin si Mr. Plum, Professor Plum, as you progress to case 4, walang pinagkaiba yon kung paano tayo daw minamanipulate ng Diyos. That's why we are not responsible. So tingnan natin kung if that will hold water. So case 2 halos parehas lang, pero yung ating concern, case 3, social environmental programming. Okay? So itong case na ito, case 3 nung 4 case ni Perboom, this case describes Professor Plum this time ang nagdetermine na sa kanya ay hindi yung may remote control na neuroscientist. Ang nagdetermine na sa kanya yung rigorous training practices sa kanyang bahay at sa kanyang community. So, from his youth hanggang lumaki siya, mula pagkapanganak niya hanggang lumaki siya, he is determined by his community na maging ganito yung kanyang character. And eventually, ang kanyang character ay naging selfish, hard man, and then self-determined man. So yung kanyang training nag-occur all throughout his life, hanggang mula bata pa lang siya, at nangyari, eventually, pumatay siya ng tao. Ang argument dito ni Dr. Perboom ay, nung pumatay siya ng tao, hindi siya responsible doon. Bakit? Kasi training na lang pala niya mula bata siya to be a killer by his household and by his community. So, wala siyang magawa kundi yun ang kalabasan ng kanyang action. Papatay talaga siya kasi nga he was determined since young age para pumatay ng tao. Okay, so yung case 4, social environmental programming. So that is where he was programmed para gawin yung kanyang action. Let's say ngayon papatay siya, influence iyon or program iyon ng training niya simula pagkabata pa lang. Okay? And then case 4. Case 4, in-advance ito ni Dr. Perboom. Ito naman yung natural deterministic causes. Okay? From social environmental programming na case 3, case 4, natural deterministic cases, ito yung nire-represent naman yung ordinary situation kung saan ina-assume dito ni Dr. Perboom yung physicalist na true yung physical determinism. Siguro ngayon, as I say it, nakikita nyo yung ano yung mali dito sa argument na to, di ba? Kasi meron, ina-affirm niya yung physical determinism. And he is saying na kung totoo sa physical determinism na Professor Plum being manipulated, that's true pagdating sa divine determinism. Walang pinagkaiba yon. Kasi sa case 4 niya, nung pumatay na si Professor Plum ng isang tao, meron siyang deliberation process that took place in his brain to do that decision kasi he was determined by circumstances kasama yung kanyang training. At again, ang assumption ay physically determined. So yung laws of nature, physical laws, kasama ng environment, lahat yon. Taking it into account, he is programmed that way. So kung papatay siya ngayon, he is not responsible. Kasi determined siya ng laws of nature. Okay? So again, yung argument niya, walang pinagkaiba yon sa divinely determined agent. Again, yung assumption is that there's no responsibility relevant distinction between an agent whose choices are determined by external manipulation, may remote control, and an agent whose choices are determined solely by antecedent moral or natural causes. Ibig sabihin, antecedent, mga naunang nangyari. Halimbawa, okay, let's say, a day before he killed a person, a day before that, kasama ng kanyang training ay yung kailangan niyang manood ng murder case the whole day. And inspire siya to kill a person, and then yung sa murder case na yon, nakita na okay lang ang pumatay, it's good to kill. Therefore, even a night before, considering yung mga ginawa niya in the past training niya, kinabukasan papatay siya, and he is not responsible. Kasi determined na siya ng external forces to do that. Okay? So, ganon yung reasoning. At yun yung assumption din, na merong external manipulation, walang pinagkaiba yun sa external manipulation kasi yun yung history niya, yun yung nabuo yung character niya, and he can't help it. Ganun siya ni-raise eh. Diba, subukan nyo ang inyong anak, panoorin nyo ng Peppa Pig the entire month. Kausapin siya the following month, hindi na maintindihan. Peppa. Pero, that's a different story. Okay. So, implication. Ano yung implication nito? If natural and divine determination are relevantly analogous, ibig sabihin, similar lang yung physical determination, sabi ni Dr. Pierboom, parehas lang yan sa divine determination that we affirm, right? We affirm that God determined all things to come to pass. So kung similar yon sa manipulation, ibig sabihin, divine determination and moral responsibility are incompatible. So he is denying na compatible yung sovereign will and human free will. So that's case 1. Later ang ating response. Case number 2, halos nag-overlap sila. Kilala ito sa tawag na the consequence argument. Yung kanina manipulation argument, MA. Ito naman CA, the consequence argument. Ang proponent nito ay si Peter Van Inwagen. He is a Christian. Okay, he is a Christian. Yung work niya sa free will is philosophical, not primarily theological, along with Carl Ginnett. So, example nito. Imagine nyo yung mundane decision. Ibig sabihin, normal na nangyari sa buhay natin. Hindi kailangang big na decision. Pag sinabing mundane, kasi maghugas ba ako ng pinggan, or manood ng TV, so yun yung mga mundane cases, intra-mundane cases. So for example, meron siyang, sa consequence argument, ang example na binigay doon, yung whether he's working, magta-type ba siya para sa work niya, or mag-inom siya ng coffee. Okay? Sinasabi ng consequence argument na the argument holds that if determinism is true, all current human actions, kasama yung pagta-type, pag-iinom ng kape, are necessarily consequences of the laws of nature and the state of the world in the distant past. Kung yung una, may kinalaman yung ginagamit yun to advance yung manipulation, ito naman na parang yung ginagawa natin ngayon, consequence lang siya ng laws of nature and ng lahat ng nangyari in the distant past. So parang ganito. Since hindi natin kayang baguhin yung physical laws of the universe. Hindi natin kayang baguhin yung gravity. Wala tayong control na kung ano nangyari sa ating universe before we were born. We cannot control that, right? So ibig sabihin na if hindi mo control yon at yung action natin ngayon ay consequence ng situation, condition ng mundo, let's say 10 years before, therefore, as a consequence, di natin control din yung nangyari ngayon. If we don't control if we do not have control, kung wala tayong control sa nangyayari in the past, at bilang consequence doon, nangyayari yung nangyari ngayon, So, hindi tayo responsible sa action natin kasi yun na yung consequence eh. Wala ang control, nangyari 10 years ago. Nalugi yung papa ko sa business. So naghirap ako ngayon. Wala akong control sa nangyari in the past. Hindi ako responsible. That was not up to me. Kung gayon nangyari, kung anong nangyari sa akin ngayon, it's not up to me as well. Kung magnakaw ako, pumatay ako, it's not up to me. Kasi yun na yung nangyari sa past ko eh. Yun yung problema. So, wag niyo akong sisihin ngayon, di ba? Common yung ganyang language, di ba? Nasa tondo, lumaki ang isang bata, mahirap siya, walang maayos sa tirahan, nagnakaw siya. Normally, ang reasoning dyan is, huwag niyo sisihin yung bata. Kasalanan niya ba yun? Lumaki siyang mahirap, wala siyang tumutulong sa kanya eh. Huliin niyo yung mga contractor. So, yun, through physical laws of nature and yung, dahil wala tayong choice yung nangyayari sa past, therefore, wala tayong ding, hindi up to us yung nangyayari. And then yung other physical laws pa na nag-govern sa natural processes ng universe, yung mga malalim na quantum mechanics, ganyan, and all that. Nagdidictate yun kung paano mag-e-evolve, mangyayari yung next action natin. So, consequence ng past, yung nangyayari sa atin ngayon. So, this holds that even sa mga trivial decision like taking a coffee or eating something, it is not up to you or up to me in the way that they believe it. So, ang assumption dito, again, ang assumption is yung LFW, libertarian free will. Yung agent's power to act as a first mover, having categorical ability to choose contrary to any prior determining factors kasama na yung external causes. So, review lang yung libertarian free will na hindi natin ina-affirm, ha? Compatibilistic free will ang ating ina-affirm. Yung libertarian free will, ang assumption nito, ikaw ang first mover ng lahat ng iyong decisions, lahat ng iyong action. If you remember yung lecture ni Pastor Exley, yung merong concurrence, right? Na yung divine providence and then human decision, di ba? Magkasabay yon, okay? Merong first cause, ang Diyos, transcendent, He ordained it to happen and sisigurado niya na mangyayari yon. So, magitan ng kanyang providence. At the same time, it's through our free decisions. Okay? Pero dito, yung assumption dito ay we can do contrary to what God determined. Kung determine ng Panginoon na umupo ako sa upuang ito, hindi ang Panginoon ang ultimate cause nun. Kung ako, I can choose not to do that. So parang pwedeng magulat ang Panginoon. Ito kasi mga tinuturo din ng mga open theists na ang future open din sa Panginoon. Na let's say, pag bukas, pwedeng makita ng Panginoon, ay umulan. In-ordain ko umaraw, bakit kaya umulan? So parang nagulat ang Panginoon, right? And then kinukuha nila sa mga passages sa scriptures where, for example, yung sinabi ni Jesus sa Matthew chapter 11 na kung ginawa lang yung miracle ng Panginoon sa mga Tyre and Sidon, mag-repent na sana sila long time ago. Kung ginawa lang, okay? Argument din yun ng mga Molinists. Siguro later ma-expound natin iyon. So, ang implication nito ay ganito po, ng CA. Compatibility of freedom and responsibility is undermined by the fixed nature of past events and causal laws. If the past is not up to us, neither is the present. Kasi ang tatanong, halimbawa kung nakaharap kayo ng ganitong person, sabihin niya, okay, before ka ba pinanganak, ikaw ba nag-decide kung saan kayo papanganak? Hindi. O di mo kasalanan kung anong ginagawa mo na ngayon kasi di ka pinanganak ng mayaman. Mahirap kang pinanganak. So, okay lang yan. Magnakaw ka, hindi ka naman responsible dyan. So, bagsak sa morality. So, anong defense natin? So, I know that you can give defense dun as it is being presented, right? Parang madali lang i-argue, pero yun yung ina-advance. May mga specific details pa yon sa mga books na pinapublish. Pero sa ating defense, yung language ng ating confession rejects a certain form of free will, right? Naniniwala tayo sa free will, pero again, ang tanong natin, gaya ng ating introduction sa first part, anong klaseng free will ba? Okay, yung sinasabi ng mga nila Peter Boom, nila Peter Van Inwagen, anong free will ang tinutukoy nila? So our confession affirm a biblical concept of it that enables us to uphold compatibilism. So yung responses natin sa MA, manipulation argument, and CA, consequence argument, may overlap. Pwede mag-overlap ito. Let me quote Thomas Aquinas. One action does not proceed from two agents of the same order, but nothing hinders the same action from proceeding from a primary and secondary agent. So, ang Diyos ang primary cause, and ang tao ang secondary cause. Sa chapter 3 ng ating confession, sinabi doon, yung liberty ng secondary causes is not taken away, but established. Because dahil dinetermine ng Panginoon ang lahat na mangyari, hindi ibig sabihin na wala tayong kalayaan, kundi dahil sa determining decree ng Panginoon, established ang ating kalayaan sa ating mga decision. So, response number 1 sa manipulation argument. Ang ating response dito ay crucial para ipakita yung disanalogy between divine causation and human manipulation. Okay. Diba inaas ng proponent ng 4 cases argument ng manipulation na walang pinagkaiba kung physically determined ang universe, walang pinagkaiba yon sa divine determined universe. So sa ating philosophical defense, we advance the teaching yung creator and creator distinction, right? So kung sa isang tao na, let's say, if it is inappropriate and equivocating to transfer moral intuitions derived from human level manipulation, human causation, directly to God's sovereign causal power. So, mali yun, walang one-to-one correspondence na sabihin mo na, okay, physically determined universe, ang bilis lang i-transfer, okay, parehas lang yan sa divinely determined universe. Ang challenge doon, how can you, let's say, how can you conclude that way? Paano mo include that way? You need to argue na ang divine determinism involves manipulation. And ating ina-affirm na hindi minamanipulate ng Panginoon. Kaya nga, nag-establish tayo sa ating confession and scriptures, ginagawa ng tao as we please, ayon sa ating kagustuhan. So sa rebuttal ng ating confession, ni-rule out din natin yung any form of natural physical determinism. Diba? Sa ating confession, may phrase doon, not necessitated by nature. Right? Hindi tayo, hindi demand ng nature, ng laws of nature, na gawin natin ang specific actions na ginagawa natin. Let's say si Professor Plum, sa pagpatay niya, hindi niya pwedeng sisihin or sabihin na ginawa ko lang ito kasi I'm determined by the laws of nature, right? And then, for example, sa Biblia, of course, familiar tayo sa Acts chapter 2, verse 22 and 23, and then Acts 4, 27, 28. Ang tawag rito yung crucifixion narrative and the unmanipulated agents. Hindi sila minanipulate ng Panginoon. Basahin natin, Acts 2:22. Men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth, a man attested to you by God with mighty works and wonders and signs that God did through him in your midst, as you yourselves know. So, tignan nyo sa ordaining power ng Panginoon, inattest niya by his mighty wonders and miracles before their eyes. Nakita nila. Hindi nila nakita na si Jesus pumapatay ng tao, therefore gagawa nila ng masama si Jesus. Okay? Everything that was good, nakita nila. 23, this Jesus delivered up according to the definite plan and foreknowledge of God, you crucified, pinako ninyo, and you killed by the hands of lawless men. So, yung emphasis, sino yung pumatay? Sila. Okay? Hindi sila minanipulate ng Panginoon para gawin yon. And then, Acts chapter 4, verse 27 to 28. Sabi dito, "For truly in this city there were gathered together against your holy servant Jesus." So meron mga tao na gathered together, "whom you anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate, along with the Gentiles and the people of Israel." So tatlong categories. Herod, Pontius Pilate, apat pala. Gentiles and the people of Israel. Ano daw ang kasunod na verse 28? "To do whatever your hand and your plan had predestined to take place." Para gawin yung tinalaga ng Panginoon, pero ang sabi dito, in this city, they were gathered against your holy servant. So nagpakana sila na gawin yon laban sa ating Panginoong Hesukristo. So sila yung gumawa nun, at the same time, inordain ng Panginoon na mangyari iyon. So, and then another one that we need to identify is yung God-givenness criterion. Mahalaga ito kasi sa mga manipulated like Dr. Plum, okay? Professor Plum, physically determined, ginawa siya ng isang neuroscientist. Walang similarity yon sa tao. Maybe it may look like us outwardly, pero tayo, ano ba tayo? We have been created in the image of God. Binigyan tayo ng merong God-given criterion na kung saan meron tayong character and desires bigay ng Panginoon for us to desire freely. So manipulation undermines responsibility because it involves an external agent, yung neuroscientist, meddling with, overriding, or tampering with the agent's pre-existing God-given character and desires. So, dito sa unang response, sa unang case, malagang makita natin na yung providential work po ng Panginoon sa pagtalaga ng lahat na nangyayari kasama yung choice natin, ito yung legitimate creative source ng character at ng desire natin sa bawat ginagawa natin. Sa Panginoon nang galing yon, hindi external determining factor. Thus, God's determination is fundamentally disanalogous to manipulation. Hindi natin pwede sabihin na yung simply because God determines yung mangyayari, it also follows na minanipulate tayo ng Panginoon. Okay? So walang similarity, and we identify a dissimilarity kasi nga merong God-given character and desire. So pag tinanong kayo, yung Diyos nyo sa Calvinist, di ba nagmamanipulate? Wait lang. You're just begging the question. Ina-assume mo na yung determinism equals manipulation. So you can tell that person, what if I can tell you na merong isang dissimilarity? And that is, yung mga minamanipulate na mga, let's say, mga bagay, wala silang God-given character and desires. So we identify that. Sa divine determinism, through His providential work, binigyan na tayo ng character and desires to do as we please. Kasi nga tayo ay created in the image of God. So sabi ni Jonathan Edwards, the first cause and secondary cause do well agree, because the latter is dependent upon and subordinate to the former. The freedom of the will is it's acting from an internal free principle. So meron tayong prinsipyo sa loob natin, and it is God that gives this principle. Ang Diyos ang nagbigay noon and upholds it. Therefore, we did not fear that the freedom of the will should be taken away by God's decree or be hurt and diminished by it. God is the cause of the will's moving and acting. And yet the will, tingnan niyo po ang cause ng will to move and to act is God. Yet the will moves and acts freely because He inclines it in a free and kindly manner. So, may freedom ang Panginoon and may certain freedom tayo according to our nature. Sa ating kalikasan bilang tao na binigyan ng Panginoong Diyos ng character with particular background na meron tayo ngayon. Halimbawa, sa isang mananampalataya, on a Sunday, we are inclined to go to church. Tama po ba? Bukas baka mamaya biglang Na-force po ako na hindi pumunta ng church eh. We are inclined to go to church, right? Then an unbeliever na saan sila pupunta? Of course, by their nature, kalikasan nila, hindi nila gagawin talaga yon. Kasi they are not inclined to do that and they freely do that. Di na sabihin na hindi kami makapunta ng church kasi pinipigilan kami ng Santo Tomas Reformed Baptist Church na pumunta ng church eh. So walang ganon, right? They freely do that. That is their choice. And they are responsible for that choice. And then response number 2, the consequence argument naman. Bahas parehas lang din, pero tignan natin yung onte na primary target naman natin again is the assumption of that the categorical ability to do otherwise is necessary for moral responsibility. Okay, medyo yung phrase, categorical ability. Yung categorical ability is synonymous sa freedom of contrary choice or yung dito nakalagay sa notes nyo, principle of alternate possibilities or libertarian free will. So pare-pares lang yon yung mga term na yon. Kung saan na tayo daw ay merong categorical ability to do otherwise. Ibig sabihin, again yung kinabi ko kanina, na tayo yung source, primary source ng ating decision. Regardless of God's decree, kahit ano pang italaga ng Panginoon, tayo ang first mover ng ating decision. So, sa ating philosophical defense, the core of the compatibilist counter-argument involves clarifying the concept of ability or can. Sa paanong paraan natin kayang gawin ang ibang bagay? Let's say, sa Reformed Orthodox kasi, merong tinatawag na liberty of contradiction. Ibig sabihin, is either you can do A or non-A. Pwede akong uminom ng coffee or hindi uminom ng coffee. Meron namang liberty of contrariety. Ibig sabihin, we can do A, B, C, D. Yung contradiction, I can either lift this phone or put this phone down. Sa liberty of contrariety, I can lift this phone or lift this laptop or lift this book. So nakita niyo yung difference, di ba? So may different liberty tayo. Pero yung liberty na yon consistent sa providential work ng Panginoon. Etong liberty na ina-advance ng consequence argument, walang ganon. Though they affirm yung contradiction, they can do A or non-A, pero that is even against the determined will of God. So, kaya nga kasi ina-affirm nila na incompatible ang divine determinism and free will. Pero yung free will, ayon sa kanilang definition. Hindi free will sa ating definition. Diba? So, sa ating confession, again, human freedom is often related not to the absolute power, to the contrary, or freedom of contrary choice, but to freedom of inclination. We are free kasi ginagawa natin according to our desire, according to our nature. Hindi kinakailangan na yung freedom mo ay consists of doing contrary to what God determines you to do. We are free in a sense kasi lahat yun, hindi tayo coerced, hindi tayo forced, hindi tayo necessitated by laws of nature. Okay? We do what we want to do, and that is why we are held accountable. We act upon our choice. Ginagawa natin yung gusto natin gawin kasi ginagawa natin yun ayon sa ating pagpili. Doon nag-reside yung ating responsibility. Kasi merong example sa book ni Guillaume Binion, isa siyang, no, yung brace ko lang, tanggalin ko lang mamaya. Guillaume Binion, isa siyang atheist na naging Christian philosopher. Okay. Meron siyang sinay doon na isang case kung saan yung isang nanay, pinatay na yung 2 anak niya. During investigation, totoo to, real case to sa US to nangyari. You can read that book. Kasi dinedepensahan siya ng lawyer niya kasi during that time na nag-take siya ng medicine. Nag-take siya ng medicine kung saan hindi siya conscious sa kung anong ginagawa niya nung pinatay na yung 2 anak niya. So, sa court, parang mananalo na sila, pero during investigation, before siya mag-take ng medicine, nag-message pala siya sa kanyang asawa na gagawin niya yon. So, even during the time of action ay parang nakadroga siya eh. Hindi siya pwedeng ma-excuse kasi kahit hindi niya, let's say, i-grant natin hindi niya alam ginagawa niya while she were killing yung kanyang mga anak, pero before that action, meron siyang responsibility. Kasi sinabi niya sa asawa niya, ibig sabihin matino yung kanyang isipan. Na gagawin niya yon, nag-take lang siya ng droga, parang sa lang yan, yung sa lakas ng loob, di ba? Yung iba umiinom para may lakas ng loob para sabihin dun sa crush niya na may gusto siya, di ba? So, dito, pinapakita lang naman natin na we have freedom of inclination. Kahit yung mga, meron siguro mga cases, pero kailangan mo kasing identify saan may nangyari bang manipulation all throughout. Meron bang influencing manipulation kung saan, sinabi sa'yo, pag di mo gagawin yan, papatayin ko yung family mo. Pero kung walang ganon, and then yung babae, nag-take lang siya ng drugs para magawa na yon, she is still responsible for that action. So, hindi consequence ng nangyayari in the past yung kanyang ginagawa. So, sabi ni Renihan, ni Nehemiah Cox, na kinwote ni Renihan sa exposition ng confession, I do acknowledge that all men have a liberty of will or freedom of choosing with reference to those things that are proposed to them. And this I take to be an inseparable adjunct of all humane acts. Ibig sabihin, ina-acknowledge natin yung ating liberty of will, freedom of choosing sa lahat ng mga bagay na pinopropose sa atin, mga objects sa ating harapan, ay hindi ito mahiniwalay sa lahat ng action. Ibig sabihin, merong binibigay sa ating option whether yung nanay to kill or not to kill. And meron siyang decision na free na gawin yon or hindi. And then yung na-advance kanina ito, yung principle of alternate possibilities. Kasi, ayun nga, yung free will. Paano ba nila dinidefine yung free will? Ang assumption nila, yung free will na libertarian. Pero we define yung free will, hindi libertarian sense. It's a free will consistent with our desires, our choices. So we affirm yung conditional ability. Di ba kanya sabi ko, hold na yung thought, conditional ability. Laban siya sa categorical ability. Yung conditional ability, parehas lang din yun sa freedom of inclination or compatibilistic free will, because an action is free if the agent would have done otherwise had they willed or chosen to do otherwise. At yung paggawa ng iba na yon, consistent din sa determining decree ng Panginoon. For example, dinecree ng Panginoon, for example, bubuhatin ko tong Bible na ito. Pag hindi ko pwedeng huliin na parang, wait lang, ano may decree ng Panginoon? Dinecree ng Panginoon, bubuhatin ko to, hindi ko to buhatin na lang. So wala tayong access doon eh. We don't have access to God's decree, providence, right? So, kung nagbago ang ating isip, so I want to give this Bible to the brother. ESV Study Bible to ibigay ko sa kanya. Pero I chose not to. Decree pa rin ng Panginoon yon. Bawat action natin. So, hindi natin pwedeng huliin ang Panginoon. Lord, decree mo to, hindi ko gagawin yan. Ito na lang gagawin ko. Right? Wala tayong access doon right? So, kaya next dito, yung pag-maintain natin ng divine impeccability. Yan po si Pastor Francis. Divine impeccability. Okay. So, dito, even God Himself does not possess categorical ability. What do I mean? If freedom, kung ang freedom, kung sabihin nila, ang freedom kailangan you can do otherwise. Paano ang Panginoon? He is the most free of all, right? Pero, He cannot choose to be otherwise than He is now, right? Hindi niya pwedeng piliin na maging masama siya. Hindi niya pwedeng piliin na i-ordain na, for example, okay lang pala pumatay sa ibang universe. Walang multiverse, assumption lang nila yan. Na God has no categorical ability to do otherwise. Okay? He cannot be unrighteous. Meron bang kayang hindi gawin ng Diyos? Yes, he cannot lie. He cannot be unfaithful, though we are unfaithful. Tama ba yun? He cannot be unfaithful. He cannot be unfaithful. Tama nga. Okay. He cannot be unfaithful. So, this proves na hindi kinakailangan na meron tayong categorical ability to do otherwise for us to be free. Because God Himself, He is the most free of all, but He cannot categorically do otherwise. He cannot be other than what He is now. Though merong iba na, alam ko, open theist Arminian, na nakakatakot pero they even believe that God can ordain that murder is okay kung gugustuhin niya. Pero that is not true. Hindi tayo niniwala na parang ito ang Diyos, merong law above Him. Right? Hindi tayo niniwala na merong law above God. Or because yung law is consistent with God's character. So mahalaga nga yung ating doctrine of God dito eh. Sino ba ang Diyos? He is holy, right? Ano mang charge nila na hindi, pag inordain ng Panginoong Diyos, He is evil. Eh, sabi nga ng Scriptures, He is holy eh. I-assume mo ba na mas marunong ka sa Diyos, na mas alam mo yung kung paano maging Diyos? Eh di ikaw na. Pero hindi ganun, di ba? We talk to that person with love and charity. So man at fault and God is still irresistible. So Romans 9:18-20. So yung point dyan, who can resist His will? Sa divine determinism, wala. No one can resist His will. Another question ni Paul, why does he still find fault? Because we are free. We do our decisions freely. So as we apply this, as we end this second session application, yung consistent maintenance of compatibilism has profound implications for the believer's practical life. Ibig sabihin, so what? Kung soberano ang Panginoon sa kanyang pagtatalaga at ako'y malaya sa aking pagpapasya, so what? How will that impact my Christian life? Right? Una, we must exclude every form of boasting and promote humility. Kasi nga, dahil yung pagtatalaga ng Panginoon ay nag-extend sa lahat ng aspeto, even sa repentance and faith. Okay? Hindi tayo pwedeng magmalaki na tayo nag-decide. When I was in my former church, yung sabihin, former, hindi yung former, yung former. Sa alam na ang context, merong song. Hindi ko kakantahin kasi hindi maganda boses ko. Sabi doon, sa akin ang unang hakbang, ang kasunod naman kay Kristo. So we were singing that during a youth camp. Rejoicing, jumping around. Sa akin ang unang hakbang, kasunod naman kay Kristo. So even yung pagdating sa kaligtasan, right? Na sinabi natin confession, decision accompanying salvation, wala tayo doon. It's true sweet conversion. Pero may ganun pa rin nag-a-affirm nun. Right? So we must exclude that. Sabi ni Hercules Collins, God's will depends not upon the creature's will. For when He speaks of a new heart, He doth not say, if the creature will be willing, he shall have it. Niya sabihin na, kung gusto mo, then you have it. Pero sinabi, but He breaks like a monarch. I will take away the heart of stone. I will give a heart of flesh. I will put my spirit within them, and will cause them to walk in my statutes. I will not the creature's motion till he be willing. But I will make him willing in my working all things after the counsel of my own will. So nakita niyo yung God is standing as a monarch, as the supreme king, that I will do this. So walang boasting pagdating sa kaligtasan. Second, let's be patient and be assured of God's purpose in our suffering. So yung divine determinism, compatibilism, guarantees na merong purpose sa lahat na nangyayari, evil or even suffering. Namatayan ka ng anak, ang anak mo pinanganak na merong challenge pagdating sa kanyang kaisipan, nagkukos sa'yo ng daily trouble, daily struggle, depression, araw-araw. Be assured sa purpose ng Panginoon sa promises, sa mga sufferings natin. Though we may not know the purpose, but we know He who ordained that to happen. Dahil nothing occurs apart from God's decree. Kahit yung specific reason ay hindi pa natin alam. Right? Kahit di pa natin alam. Hindi naman, ang ating confidence, ang ating assurance ay hindi naka-reside doon dahil alam natin yung reason. Right? Ang ating confidence naka-reside dahil alam natin kung sino yung nagbigay nun sa atin. Kilala natin yung Diyos. Kaya kung hindi wala kang pagkakilala sa Diyos as the sovereign God, and then dito ko mas appreciate yung simplicity, doctrine of divine simplicity, that God is without parts, that na yung kanyang essence and existence ay isa lamang, and yung kanyang attributes in Himself ay referring to is one undivided essence. Kasi nga, pag sinabi normally na ang Diyos ay sovereign, ang sabihin ng mga Armenian, okay, robot tayo. God is harsh. Because of God's simplicity, His sovereignty is also wise. His sovereignty is perfect. His sovereignty is good. His sovereignty is loving. So hindi natin hinihiwalay yon. Yung katotohanan na yon about sa ating Diyos. So sabi ni Aquinas, if all the pain in human being suffers is from God, then he ought to bear it patiently, both because it is from God and because it is ordered toward good. For pains purge sins, bring evildoers to humility, and stimulate good people to love God. Diba kung walang suffering, how will you appreciate yung goodness ng Panginoon in sustaining you? Right? So, in-order ng Panginoon for our good. And then, yun din yung beauty nung sa ating chapter 9, yung huling part, yung free will in its glorified immutability. That is ating eternal state, di ba? Sabi ni Thomas Boston, they shall be fully freed from sin, which of all evils is the worst, both in itself and in their apprehension too. They shall be free from all temptation to sin. Satan can have no access to tempt them anymore. Sa glorified state, wala nang access sa Satan doon. By himself or by his agents. They shall be set beyond the possibility of sinning. For they shall be confirmed in goodness. It will be the consummate freedom of the will to be forever unalterably determined to do good or to good. Absolute innocence shall then be restored, and every appearance of sin banished far from this kingdom. So we wait for that. Wait for that because Christ will bring His bride to safety. At darating ang panahon, wala ng posibilidad na magkasala tayo because our will is fully inclined to His will. And number 3, let's maintain a balanced appeal to God's sovereignty. Siguro ito yung kailangan nating bigyan ng correction and also then, a correct understanding of free will enables us to have a proper understanding of our moral responsibility. We can't just simply appeal, hindi tayo pwede mag-appeal doon, mag-umapila sa sovereignty ng Panginoon kapag dumating ang providence ng Panginoon o kaya naman kapag tayo ay nahulog sa kasalanan. Okay? For example, Genesis 50. Alam natin yon. God meant it evil, but God meant it for good, but you meant it for evil. Sorry. Maling yung order. Si Joseph, hindi na in-excuse yung brothers niya. Hindi niya sinabi, wait lang mga kapatid, in-ordain ng Panginoon to, so chill lang kayo. Hindi. Sinabi niya sa verse 15, 17, and 20, kung saan binigyan na din, you did this. You did this. Pag binalikan niyo yung mga passages na iyon. So an appeal to God's all-determining and sovereign will never excuse human failure or sin or sloth in obedience. Na parang, ito na kasi yung kalakihan ko medyo tinatamad ako sa pagdating sa pagbabasa ng Bible Ito kasi yung training ko So, Pastor, pasensya mo na ako, may kinig lang ako ng sermon mo. I cannot read the Bible. No. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin yan. You are responsible to do that. So, we must be accountable with our decisions actions, and even sins for the glory of God and the good of His church. Kapag tayo accountable sa ating mga desisyon, lalo sa biblical churchmanship, right? Gagawa ka ng kasalanan, hindi mo i-trouble yung church by your unrepentance, kundi ikaw ay, you will put yourself forward. Aminin mo na ikaw yung hagawa ng kasalanan, or magpakumbaba ka sa harapan ng iyong pastor na mga kapatiran, at doon mo makikita yung sweetness ng forgiveness ng Panginoon. So we are accountable sa ating decision. Hindi natin pwede sabihin na nangyari, niloob naman ng Panginoon eh. Nagkamali ka ng maling desisyon, nagkaroon ka ng maling desisyon, nadama yung iglesia, sabihin mo, niloob naman ng Panginoon yan eh. No, you must be accountable. And you must face kung anong disiplina ang ibibigay ng iglesia sa iyo. So sabi ni Chapel, it is not by the exercise of will that we do wrong. No. No one at all is to be censured. If it is not, may if doon na. No one at all is to be censured or admonished. If you take away censure and admonition, the Christian law and the whole discipline of religion is done away with. Therefore, it is by the will that is sin committed. So kung hindi tayo freely nag-exercise ng ating will sa ating decision, then baliwala yung Christian discipline. Sabihin niya, napilitan lang po akong gawin yan eh. So, ano akong discipline, pastor, kasi napilitan ko lang naman gawin yan eh. Wala naman akong free will dito eh. So, walang use yung church discipline sa iglesia. And then lastly, our comfort. Let's always rely upon Christ and His merits and freely incline our wills to His. Ito yung day-to-day na ating battle, struggle. Kaya nga mahalaga yung we open the day with scriptures. Kasi yun yung nagko-condition sa atin to act, kung paano tayo gagawa sa mga bagay-bagay na harapin natin sa araw-araw. Na-experience na ba na dahil di ka nakapag-meditate ng Word of God, parang ang init-init ng ulo mo sa buong araw, and then naisip mo, wala akong mabalikan na word kasi hindi ko inuna ang word. Right? So, isang pastoral or invocation na kung unahin mo ang salita ng Panginoong Diyos, diba? There is no sin na hindi natin mapipigilan kung tayo ay nanalangin at nagbulay ng salita ng Panginoon. So, kagaya sa Matthew 11:27, si Jesus, all things have been handed to Him by the Father, right? Pero sinabi niya sa verse 28, come to me. Right? Hindi niya sinabi na, okay, binigay na sa akin ng Panginoon ng pagmamahala, okay, dyan lang kayo, I'll draw you. Pero meron siyang binigay na responsibility to come to me. All who labor and are heavily laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly. Hindi tyrant ang ating Diyos. And you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The Father handed all things to Christ, even those who will come to Him, yet He bids them to come. So kung meron dito po na mga anak natin, wala pa sa Panginoon, at hindi mo pa nakikita na parang kailangan ko ba maging kabahagi ng iglesia, o kaya hindi ko nakikita na satisfying si Christ. Well, ang command sa iyo is to repent and believe. You are responsible. Hindi parents mo ang responsible sa iyo, sa decision mo. You have to freely incline your will to His will by repenting and believing in Christ. Manampalataya kay Kristo dahil sapat ang kanyang ginawa sa krus ng Kalbaryo para sa kaligtasan ng mga manampalataya. And sa mga kapatiran natin dito, ang daming dumalo, siguro may nanonood din online. God is sovereign. We uphold that truth. We are responsible. And we believe those truths. Tayo po'y manalangin. O Diyos, salamat sa inyong katotohanan. At ito yung nagbigay sa amin ng mas matinding sense ng responsibility sa aming mga actions than us being careless sa aming decision might impact our family, our church, our asawa namin o mga anak namin. Kaya tulungan niyo kami, Panginoon, na as we acknowledge your sovereign, good, perfect will and providence sa aming mga buhay, ay panatilihin namin ang aming will, conscience namin ay wholly inclined to your will upang kami ay makapaggawa ng desisyon with tender conscience sa inyong harapan at sa harapan ng inyong mga tao. Pinupuri ka namin, Ama, and may this lead us to love Christ more. Oh Lord, we are prone to wonder. We feel it. Prone to leave the God we love. But help us upang mas ibigin ka pa namin. Ibigin namin si Kristo na aming Panginoon. Ito po ang aming dalangin sa ngalan ni Jesus. Amen.